Okay, guys, lost my quilts image behind me. The first step when I am free motion quilting is I have my piece layered, backing, batting, top, and I have it pin basted. Now the next thing that I'm going to do before I do any free motion quilting is I am going to do some what I call stabilizing stitches. So I will do some stitching in the ditch, and on this particular pattern I'm going to stitch here, here, and here, all the way around the squares. And I'm not sure if you do that with hand quilting or not, but I know I'm going to do some hand quilting on this piece, and I'm going to do some free motion quilting. For me, I want to do the free motion quilting in the black areas and in the green area. So my plan, I want to be able to take these pins out for starters, at least the majority of them, or to be able to move them to places where they're not in my way. So in order to do that, I need to put some stitches in here that will hold the 3 layers in the place that I want them. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is, with my machine, is I just have a plain foot in it. Now you could use a walking foot for this. I probably would under normal circumstances, but my walking foot is broke. So I'm just going to go slow with a regular foot, and I have monofilament thread in the top of my machine and in the bottom of my machine. Just a regular straight stitch, and I have my needle, I will have it centered on the foot so that I know where I'm stitching. If you go out of the ditch a little bit when you're stitching in the ditch on this particular instance, it really doesn't matter because it is monofilament thread. Now I do like to start in the center and work my way out, and then I kind of, with each step, I kind of check the back to make sure that there's no bubbles and kind of smooth those out. If I need to move a few pins to adjust that, I do. So the first thing that I'll do is just check the center block that I'm going to stitch around. And I leave the pins in until I get to a place where they're in my way, and then I'll just move them out of my way a little bit. So what I did is I put my needle down in the very corner, and then I'm just going to do just a very slow stitch here. Now I know a lot of people say not to use monofilament in your bobbin, but I have never had a problem with that. So I don't know. You know, you might want to, maybe you're looking for this design to show up on the back. So if that's the case, then by all means, you know, use a colored thread in your bobbin. Use a colored thread to stitch in the ditch. I just did not want this particular stitching to take away from my free motion quilting and my hand stitching that I'm going to do on this piece. So I am using the monofilament thread and just slowly, I probably wouldn't go this slow if I had my walking foot, but since I don't, I'm just going to go slow. Pay attention to where my needle's falling. Hopefully it's falling directly in the ditch. Needle down, turn. I mean, this is pretty basic stitching here. I'm coming up to another pin. You see me move that other pin, and I moved it to the middle of this block. Now this pin is in my way, and I'm actually going to move it kind of out here in the border a little bit. Sorry, there, my iron is shutting off. That's what that beeping is. And I'm going to continue to stitch around this block. I'm not going to make you watch me stitch this whole entire block, but just around the center one so that you can see, oh, I've got thread, what it looks like when I'm done. And then as I start the next one, what I do, and then we'll go on to the next step, because this might be a mind-numbing video. Now I really don't have anywhere in particular that I need to put this, so I'm just going to arbitrarily pick a spot, knowing that eventually I'll have to move that anyway. And let's see. One more side here. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm just kind of, with my hands, I kind of push it out a little bit and just, you know, I don't have my quilting gloves on yet. I will when we do the free motion quilting, because you need to be able to have a good grip on the quilt. And I'm not going to put that pin back in. I'm just going to lay it to the side. And we are approaching the corner. And now I do have, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to clip this thread from the beginning. I have a little bit of a bump. So the way I handle it, my needle is down, and it's just an ever so slight bump. You know, that if I continue to stitch it would cause a ripple. So the needle is down, I raised my presser foot, and I'm smoothing it, kind of pushing it back with my hand, and then holding that down nice and firm and pushing it good and flat with my fingers. I slowly approach that corner, and then I'm actually going to stitch back on top of my first few stitches just to kind of hold them, and then maybe do just a couple of back stitches and cut that thread. Okay, so here's the back. Not sure how much of that you'll be able to see, but here is my stitching. I'll go back and clip my threads, and then in the front, oh, I just noticed I put my owls on upside down. Oh well, on the back. But anyway, here is where I stitched here. And you really can't see it because it's in the ditch. But this piece is now ready to do some free motion quilting. And I could stop here and do the free motion quilting here and then go back and stay stitch and before I did the free motion quilting in here. But I'm just going to go ahead while I have this thread in the machine and this foot in the machine and start on the next one. Now before I go any further, what I'm going to do is look to see if there is any place where I need to move my pins, my basting pins, and everything seems to be in pretty good shape. If you are smoothing it as you're stitching it, even if your pin kind of has a blurb in it, it will pretty much hold its own. I'm going to take this one out too. And again, I'm not going to have you watch this whole video. I just want you to see me start this next one. See, I'm grabbing the back and kind of pulling it good and tight to make sure that there are no ripples in there, smoothing it with my hands, and then starting on down the next one. I stitch a little while, and then I straighten it up a little bit, smooth it, you know, and it's not so thick that I can't feel any major ripples in the back. Minor ripples don't bother me so much. Those of you that are more perfectionists than I am, it may really, really bother you. It doesn't bother me so much. So there you have step 1 in your free motion quilting. Thanks, guys.